those things that was incredible. When you see the outcome of that game, you're like, there might have been a few people that would have taken Northern Illinois on the money line, but I don't know why.
Can't imagine many of them.
So that's. But they always say it's cliche, but that's why you play the game. You got to go out there and do what you're supposed to do, and it's too easy to get kind of punched in the mouth a little bit and not know how to respond, and then just the wheels just come off, and that's exactly what happened to Notre Dame. Notre Dame, on the flip side, for what we talked about with Texas, they don't have a conference to try to go
That's
win.
right. Yeah.
So they really are in a spot that for them to make the playoff, they have to kind of run the table, so to speak. If they they are, and that bothers me because I picked them to make the playoff.
Yeah.
So
I was loving the Northern Illinois coach too. I mean, guy was in tears, like truly emotional. My favorite part though, and I think he was being totally sincere. This was not like a knock against Freeman, but he actually offered Freeman, hey, if we can do anything to help you, show you what we saw on film that we thought we could exploit, happy to help. And evidently they've already talked like a couple times this last week. And so I thought that was really cool. I was really impressed with that guy.
Yeah. If you want to know, if you want me to help you not get beat again, let me tell you what you can do. All right. So I'm going to just real quick, 2-0 teams in the, of course, there's a lot, there were schools in the NFL and our 2-0 teams. I'm going to go through it. I'm going to ask you, we got plenty of time to do this. Some of these are pretty obvious. Georgia, obvious.
Yeah.
Texas, Ohio State, Alabama. There's 3 in a row that I'm about to give you that I think some people feel like are some of the most beneficial of the 12-team expansion. Ole Miss, Missouri, and Tennessee.
I got thoughts here on this. I don't know about Missouri yet. I know they had a great season last year. I really like Drink. Ole Miss and Tennessee, I'm buying both of them. I think they're both really good teams. Probably only one of them can get in the playoff, but I like both of those teams to do big things. Got players. On side, I mean, gosh, the off on it's probably I do the schedule quite the same way.
I'm with you on Ole Miss, and I actually have Missouri over Tennessee. But the thing is that as we talked about with obviously those 3 teams all in the SEC. The SEC has the random schedule this year, just like the Big 12 has gone to, so it kind of bounces around. So you're not necessarily just playing the same people, and the head-to-head matchups will be different. And I don't have their schedules memorized, but yes. And so the thing is that obviously we already mentioned 3 SEC teams that we feel like are who they say they are.
In the top
7. And then we got these 3 more. That has to change just through attrition, So either or, these 3 teams, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Missouri, have to go. I don't know, go win whatever at home, on the road, however that is, because I don't have their schedules memorized. But you got Texas, Alabama, and Georgia there above them. So either they got to beat some of those teams, or they're going to fall out just by not being one of those teams.
Well, and I do have the fortune of having the schedules and looking at those 3 teams. Ole Miss, they've got Georgia on the schedule, but they're probably tough road, and we'll see what Brian Kelly does. They've got to go to LSU. I think a team that's sneaky is South Carolina. I think Coach Beamer and him have been playing pretty well. They finished strong last year, but they've got to go to South Carolina, which I think tomorrow you'll see them beat LSU. I got a minute left before we get to our next segment. But the toughest one is Tennessee is the only one of those 3 that get both Bama and Georgia.
Yeah.
And so I do think it's going to be tough. We'll talk more when we get to the picks. But I think I think Brian Kelly and the other high profile. Brian Kelly's a profile guy because he's won at different places. Dion is profile because he is Dion. I think both are on slippery slopes. I think their car seat should be hot, big time, in my opinion. All right, one of the things that is hot, again, you can catch the Texas A&M Aggies. They're going to be heading to Florida. Coach Elko trying to find that big win. Billy Napier still trying to figure out how to open a water bottle. When we come back, one of the things that's hot is the place to be tomorrow is Mulligan's Bash. Misty's gone, but I've got a question for Misty, or not Misty, but for Grant, for Josh, and Kyle King, taking time to come out, visit with us this morning. Big concert tomorrow night. Get your tickets. When we come back, Misty's bag without Misty. We'll be back.
Y'all dogging my lawnmowers, man.
Oh, we were not dogging the
As
lawnmower.
much as I hate to say it.
Speaking well. But you know, man, good to see you, buddy. How's things?
Good.
Glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Y'all got everything ready for tomorrow?
No.
Okay.
I've already had jumps and tents come out this morning. Stage will be there in about 10 minutes.
I cannot imagine all the work that you have.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
All right, so we'll give Kyle a mic, kind of share if you have questions, jump in, Josh, or you want to take whatever. So I do have a Misty's bag. Who's the super sexy guy on the radio? I'm not real sure why Laura sent that to me. It's so awkward.
That's great.
Grant's in that text too.
Oh.
I do have a Misty's bag question for all three of y'all to answer. I got to remember I've typed it out and sent it to Misty. Oh, no. Oh, no, I know what we'll do. We'll do what we did last time. We'll come back.
So this guy was a runner-up on
No, he won.
one.
See, and people's like, oh man, that was so long ago, but he was 16 when he won. He's only 30 years He plays. Oh no, it's tomorrow. He plays in Santa Fe tonight, and then get down till like midnight. Then they're driving straight here.
Welcome back to the Hodge Pack. Between us, we hear Tower Town. You can hear that possibly tomorrow night. It's on the set list. Joining us in our Potosi Live studio. It's time for our Misty's Bag, brought to you by Mulligan. Misty's out changing lives in Leadership Abilene. But joining us in studio is Kyle Key. Kyle, we appreciate you taking the time. I know you've got one or two things to do, but we appreciate you being here this morning.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Excited for the weekend.
And we appreciate you tuning in. I know he was excited about the analyst that Josh and Grant were doing with your Longhorns.
Nobody ever wants to admit that they're the real deal.
that is true, and it looks like Texas is the real deal. And I do have a question for all four or all three of you, and I'll do what Misty does. I'll answer. We'll get to that later. But let's talk about it. You made the announcement here a few months ago. You'd worked the deal long before we made the announcement about who the artists were coming against Scotty McCreery, Ashley Cook, Della Rose, Caleb Sutton. Really, and we'll brag about the two top headliners, but the two artists, Della Rose and Caleb Sutton, are going to put on a great show. Be sure you're there for them. Caleb does a great job. He sings a lot of the songs you hear right on here on 106.9, the Country Giant, and of course, Della Rose. But talk a little bit about, we give Santa our Christmas list, we tell our parents what we want, and Christmas finally comes. Your Christmas is tomorrow.
Yeah, it's wild. It's a wild process that a lot of people don't ever see or know the behind the scenes stuff. I mean, our stage is fixing to arrive in about 5 minutes out there. We've had jumps and tents already out this morning. We'll start building bars and building bike racks, and porta potties will come today. Trash cans will come today. I mean, literally everything. Our driving range will be turned into a music venue today.
Well, and one of the things, let's talk about, for those that are listening, driving on their way to that 8 o'clock work, don't forget you can take KLGD 106.9 into the office with you. Tickets. Still tickets available if people want to go tomorrow?
There's still tickets available online right now on our website at mulligansofabilene.com. If you wait tomorrow, they will be $60 at the gate. Right now, you can still get them for $40. I mean, 4 full bands for $40 is a pretty good deal. Yeah. So.
Well, and a guy that you're bringing artists that normally you'd have to get in a car and go 2.5 hours, go to a already made venue and drive and go, but you're bringing those talents to Abilene. And I know you and Daisy and a lot of your team have worked on. They're great. We love their music, but there's a lot of things that go into getting that contract signed on the dotted line.
Yeah, and it's tough, especially to get them to stop in Abilene, especially on a Saturday night. It's tough. So if we can build a reputation, getting these kind of artists here, it'll be better for everybody in Abilene. I mean, we love it when Potosi Live puts on an amazing show. It's good for Abilene. So it goes both ways,
Well, and I do think and that's where you come in as the listener and the ticket buyer to go and watch these folks. And I can't emphasize enough, whether it is Potosi Live, Outlaws and Legends, a local, the places that bring in music, go support live music. Because if an artist comes, and tell me if I'm wrong, if an artist comes and says, you know what, not only do the people show up, the venue takes care of you, it's a great experience, all that, it now they talk.
Word travels between them as well, between tour managers. I mean, it makes it more appealing to everybody to come here, which is what we want.
Right, exactly. And you want to continue because I know I'm the oldest one in the room, but we remember the artists that. And now, granted, George Strait was still big in 1996, but George Strait was here. And it's still a great middle spot on your way when that tour bus drives through or whatever. And Abilene's trying, and more of those venues are popping up. The Paramount's bringing people in, the Civic Center, the Convention Center bringing people in. So I can't emphasize enough to go support these artists. I think one thing that you should share, because I know when the first one, I mean, Parker was a big deal, and you talking about that driving range, it was packed and all those things, and you've had Kevin Fowler, and you had unfortunately one rain and all that, but you've done a really great job bringing these artists to Abilene. Talk about and brag about the not improvements, but the add-ons that you've done for parking and those things that people will enjoy tomorrow night.
Yeah, everything, you learn something new at every show. No matter what, if you've done 10 shows, 5 shows, 20 shows, you're going to learn something every time. We learn at every show. So we've connected with 10 acres, caddy corner of our driving range on the end of Petroleum Drive, and we've connected our lands with a bridge. So, I mean, you can park right there. The street will fill up super quick, and that's just part of it. But drive to the end of Petroleum, we'll have gate attendants, we'll have people pointing you in the right direction, and you just literally walk straight across this bridge and you're on our property.
Well, and I think that's a great deal. So be sure you get those tickets again, where they can get them.
mulligansofabilene.com.
And again, save $20, get them knocked out, and be ready to go tomorrow night. Real quick, we got to pause because we got to do the old station identification real quick. Just 1 second.
KLTP Stanford, Abilene, 106.9 FM. Your home for real country music. Radio.
All right, Country Drive will continue to go. Country Giant, again, songs you can hear, you'll be able to hear those tomorrow night. What part about it that we want to talk about is your partnership with a great organization and what that means to you, and then we'll finish it with Misty's question, which will be mine.
Yeah, absolutely. We decided to partner this year and moving forward with the American Cancer Society. Unfortunately, we lost my dad to cancer, and so we just want to do anything we can to help figure out what we can do about cancer. I mean, I think there's a lot of us that deal with it daily, and we shouldn't have to. So whatever we can do to help raise money for that foundation is what we're going to do every year.
Well, and again, it's a great way for you to help. Have a great time. The food, of course, what will the food be like?
We got a number of food trucks. We've got a rolling wood fire pizza,
Which is fantastic. If you not had the pizza, it's so good.
Yeah, it's really good. Great guy. Larry's awesome. We'll have a taco truck. We have Crooked Meats Barbecue. We've got a snow cone truck. I mean, we're going to have options.
Hey, we got some food in Mulligan's too.
That's not tomorrow.
Kitchen's going to be busy tomorrow.
Yeah.
Kitchen's closed, but always head out to Mulligan's. Great food, great place. Will you be open Sundays for the Cowboy game?
We will be open normal hours Sunday. The range will still be a little bit out of play for a while, but the restaurant opens at 11. Football will be on. And one other thing we just found out is Ashley Cook just landed her headlining tour. So we're one of her last opening shows. So you better come out and see her.
There you go. You can be like those that went to Tarleton back in '81. I remember I saw George Strait at Boondocks or whatever that place was called. All right. So again, get your tickets. Now we cannot not have a question. Josh is researching because he's scared of what my question is going to be. And Lord knows we cannot have this show and this segment brought to you by Mulligan's without. All right, here's what I got in that bag. We got country music all day, every day, right here on 106.9. The Country Giant. We got country music tomorrow night. So here's the question, and Josh can't get out of it. All right, Graham, here's the question. What country artist would be the best NFL head coach?
Ooh, I like that.
Misty said perfect, so I felt good about it.
I'm gonna have to think on this. We have another answer. I don't want to hold everybody up. I'm trying to think through this.
What country artist would be the best NFL coach?
So I've got different opinions on country music these days, but I would have to go with some sort of big star like a Morgan Wallen. They're young. They know the sport.
Daniel probably.
He's a young guy who watches sports, and you know that for a fact. He talks about it. He's a diehard Tennessee fan, so you know he's watching football on Saturdays. So, I mean, I would have to go with somebody around that.
All right, so Morgan Wallen. Zach Bryan looks like he probably played football.
Zach Bryan is one that came to mind for me. Yeah, I think he's just normal guy. He seems like he understands sports. completely. He's not going to be like some of these guys who's faking it. So yeah, that kind of came to mind for me.
All right, Josh, who do you have?
This is the weirdest question I've been
This is
asked in a while. I'm trying to think through what I would like, how I was even like thinking about this is like somebody that I think looks like a football coach or someone who I think has the ability to coach football.
Right.
If I was gonna go with like, I don't know, would like to sideline with his headset on, like I think that would just kind of be a good visual. So that's what I'm
So
gonna
we
go
got
with.
Alan Jackson, Morgan Wallen, and Zach Bryan. Luke Combs looks like he could be related to Andy Reid a little bit. Not identical, but
Hey,
Luke.
let me throw out a weird one. All right, it's very off what people would think, but I think Reba, man, she's just like a boss lady.
Yeah,
I see her like commanding the sideline, right?
I don't think she could be in Wildcats too if they remade it.
Right,
Goldie
right,
Hawn,
right.
but Reba maybe one. Josh.
The other one I did think of, but he's since passed, would be Toby Keith. He kind of has a football look to him.
Of course, I would probably throw out Garth. He played a little bit of javelin, threw the javelin at Oklahoma State. True story. Yeah, threw the javelin there. Darius Rucker's a big South Carolina guy. I could see, of course, voice of one of the singers of College Game Day. But I'm going to stick. Blake Shelton grew up in Oklahoma. I don't know if they play football in Oklahoma like they do in Texas, but
I like that one.
Kenny Chesney could look just like Steve Warren and sing "Boys of
We
Paul."
don't need Kid Chesney on the team.
No, that is a true story. All right, well, Kyle, I know you got a busy day, a stage to set up. Appreciate you coming in. Appreciate you coming in each time talking about this show. I'm glad it's here. I can't wait. My plan is to be there tomorrow night, and so we appreciate you and hope everything runs smooth. The Lord's giving you great weather for the weekend, and
Awesome weather. Can't ask for better weather.
It should be a good time. So you've got 5 more minutes to get your tickets before they get the $60.
Tomorrow.
If you mess it up, go pay the $60. It's going to be worth it. You need to be out there.
True story.
Thank
I just
you
had to
so
throw in
much.
another song. Hey, when we come back to NFL, it's rocking and rolling, and Dak got paid. We'll be back right after this.
All right.
Big best of luck, man.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Y'all got to kill it today. So good to see you, man.
Thank y'all. Thank you.
Very good to see you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. All right, I gotta go get at it.
All right.
Good luck with all that.
Thank y'all.
See you, man.
That was reading tweets about Kumar Roberts. His quote. Dooby.
That was a pretty crazy question.
Yeah, it was just like, huh? About Luke Bryan, he's a big Georgia Bulldog fan.
Yeah. So we'll come back to hold on loosely.
Hold on to loosely. I don't know.
She seemed like a nice lady.
Oh no, the chapstick. When you get to the end of the chapstick tube, it like won't come out anymore, but there's still some in there. What do you do with it? You throw it away, or do you like put it on your finger and then put it, like what do you do?
You could probably treat it like backwash and say it's no longer any good.
Just throw it away.
That's what I would do. Let's do this. Welcome back to the Hodge Pack. We're rocking and rolling in hour number 2, brought to you by Coleman County State Bank. We are rocking and rolling. It is a great time. It is Paradise City, and a guy that is definitely in Paradise City is the Dallas Cowboys football team with their quarterback. $240 million, Josh. 4 years, 231 guaranteed. Gave that extra million so he could be ahead of Deshaun Watson. Our Black
He's way ahead of Deshaun Watson last week.
Yeah, in a lot of areas, in life, in a lot of things and statistics. So what's our thoughts as we dive into week 2, look back at week 1, rolling into week 2 of the NFL season? Thoughts on the Dak Prescott contract? Josh, you called it. We're going to give you the final, not too much of the final word in a moment on that. But what was the reason for, hey, I want to be Jerry Jones and let's sign this before the coin toss? Like literally before the coin toss.
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal with these NFL QB contracts. It feels like there's no other option, right? And I don't really understand why it happened right before. I feel like this thing's been done for months, and this was a Jerry Jones publicity stunt. He's pretty good at that stuff. And I just can't imagine that it took all of that negotiating to get to that point, because it's the biggest contract ever for a quarterback. It's the biggest in terms of guaranteed money. Like, that hasn't already been figured out. I think this was about splashing on week 1, making sure that all eyes were on the Cowboys. That's just my personal opinion, but I don't love the contract. I mean, it's so much money, especially the guaranteed money. On the other hand, it's like, what do you do? Every single quarterback really in that, top 10 range is going to get, the max for a quarterback that there's ever been. And so it's either you miss out and you have to figure things out, which sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't. But I think in this case, it was probably something they had worked out quite a while back. And gosh, I mean, you think about Daniel Jones, what he got paid.
$40 million.
I mean, what else are you going to do?
If Daniel Jones gets $40 million, like Dak's worth $50 million easy.
Exactly.
I mean,
Right.
It's just like,
If that's the market, honestly, I'm not sure if we did underpay that. We did overpay, but like for $40 million at Daniel Jones, it's like not a bad little deal.
yes, that reminds me of a tweet that I saw with the jugs machine at the Giants practice not working. It was like throwing the ball like kind of just all over the place, erratic. The receiver trying to catch the guys over there trying to fix the jug machine, and the caption said they've got the jugs machine set to Daniel Jones.
So Dak is signed, and they got to take care of it, and they took care of business with the Browns. I did throw this out. Our Black Plumbing social media question of the week is winning a Super Bowl the only thing that makes the deal worth it? And we can kind of lean this into take it or trash it. Read some of our listeners' answers. Michael Bacon says he needs to play and perform well in the playoffs and against good teams in a regular season. He has not consistently done that. Super Bowl would be great, but the Bills probably don't regret what they paid Jim Kelly or Dan Marino. Jared Bailey said at least one. Rusty Emmett says nothing short of a Super Bowl win will support this contract. At least one. And then, yes, a Super Bowl would be great, but I agree more along the lines with Bacon.
I think and we saw this winning the World Series. Like no one went into that series that season thinking, hey, we're like legitimate World Series. Like it can happen and things have to fall into place. So I'm never like, obviously I want the Cowboys to win a Super Bowl. I really, really want that. I want to watch that. I want to just have that euphoric feeling that I had watching the Rangers win the World Series. So don't take anything away from that, as far as with what I'm going to say, you still have to get lucky.
Yes.
You have to be good. You have to be lucky,
Yes,
and the ball has to bounce the right way. No key injuries, things like that. And in a team sport, and I know that like quarterback of the football team is different than every other position in every other sport, but in a team sport, you cannot say we didn't win a Super Bowl, it's your fault. And now he could have a bad game, and that would be that can trickle down. But if they lose a playoff game where good numbers, doesn't throw an interception, like has some clutch plays, and they still lose, are you saying that, well, we shouldn't have paid him? Yeah, I mean, I don't think that you might say that. I don't think that is a rational argument.
Specifically in the playoffs, we've got to get out of that divisional round,
Right.
That's the one. I mean, I'm not saying just win that game and it's like, oh, this was all worth it, but man, if he can do that, that's going to say a lot.
You got to get to the championship games. And so, but last week was week one. Number of teams that obviously you got a group of teams that half the league now is 0-1, the other half is 1-0. And so we started a segment last week called Take It or Trash It. We threw it out there. So Grant, we're going to let you as the guest start with your first Take It or Trash It comment. And we will either let you know we're going to take it or, as I like to say, what you taught us and trash it.
All right, so here we go. We're going to start with the Detroit Lions. They beat the Rams at home in an overtime thriller on Sunday night. They've got impressive receiving depth. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta. But they got it done the old-fashioned way with 163 yards on the ground behind David Montgomery, including 2 rushing touchdowns. Here's the take, guys. The Lions, not the 49ers, are the favorites to win the NFC.
All right, well, I'm going to actually throw out the, not just because I love the sounder, but I'm actually going to say what you're talking about, Willis. And I'm going to trash it because I was wrong. If you remember last week, Josh, I said my take it or trash it was that the San Francisco 49ers would not live up, would be down, Rams win the division, all that. Completely wrong. Matches up with my fantasy football draft tape. I was wrong about the San Francisco 49ers. I don't know if it was the 49ers or are the Jets just not as good. And Rodgers coming in off a year and a half, almost 2 years not playing, bad ankle, bad Achilles. But the 49ers looked really good. But as a partial semi-take of that is, you mentioned it, Josh, you've got to get fortunate, you got to get lucky. And Jordan Love getting injured in Brazil opened that door because I think they thought maybe the Packers might be that team that were to pass the Lions and leapfrog them in that division. I'm going to still trash it because I still think right now the San Francisco 49ers may be the cream of the crop of the NFC.
I trash it also because I do think the 49ers did nothing to make me think I had them picked as the best in the NFC. Nothing that happened last week. I mean, they played well, minus Christian McCaffrey, which they probably need to get used to because that happens a lot.
Jordan Mason.
But Jordan Mason, stepped in. It was like they didn't even miss him, which is crazy. And with the weapons that they have there, I'm going to trash it. I do think the Lions are for real. I think the 49ers are better.
All right, you're next.
All right, well, I'm going to go Cowboy-centric on mine, and I'm going to go ahead and throw out that, the second-year burst, literally, because the dude is fast, of DeMarvion Overshown will be what turns the Cowboys around.
Man, that play on the edge where you see Micah coming, but he gets held up and Overshown it was one of the fastest movements to the ball I've ever seen on defense. I'm buying it, man. I think he's an excellent linebacker. I think he has made a progression this year. He has stepped up his game to a new level. That play alone, I was blown away. I'm taking it, man. I love it.
Well, and you're probably exactly right because we've mentioned that the contracts that were signed by CeeDee Lamb and the contract that was signed by Dak. The contract that's going to be next is Micah. And now Overshown going to be coming up and say, don't Overshown me the money because I'm going to need it. So I'm going to agree with that. I think he's going to be a big impact player, not only because of last week, but another. Now we've got to figure out, not only do we scheme for Micah, now we have to scheme.
Well, D-Law's still on the other side,
Right.
like playing good football. I mean, we can talk specifically about the Cowboys, like, and I don't know if that's later on, but the way that defense played, it was next level. It made it to where, you know, Dak had a pedestrian day stat wise because they didn't need to do anything.
And the other thing I really liked about the defense is Zimmer is obviously an excellent defensive schemer, but it looked much more together. They looked more disciplined. It looked like it's sustainable over the season.
Right. It wasn't just go for the big play, which
Right.
When that worked in the past, the Cowboys were very, very exciting to watch. I mean, Bland had what, 6 pick sixes last year, you know, like
But
the
then
big
they
plays.
went ahead the next year.
Yes, and so a more disciplined, stay at home, use your athleticism, but be in your lane. I think that can really change for the good.
Well, I'm going to go to my next one, and I think, and again, I'm going to take part of it from Chris Canty from Unsportsmanlike and tweak it into what I've been saying all along. Joe Burrow and the Bengals window is closing rapidly faster than I think we ever thought, and he is going to be the